Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, let's start off with Brady, Chloe, and Philip. So pretty much Philip, tells them that he's pretty much screwed, that Xander screwed him over. The shell company, the shell company that he was using to launder the money, Xander just pretty much made that go bye-bye. So with that being said, he gets a call from Angelo. And, he's on the phone with him. He's like, yo, listen, this wasn't my fault. I didn't do this. Like, that company, that wasn't my fault. Pretty much, their money is just gone. So, pretty much at that point, they hung up the phone on him. And, Philip is just like, yeah, I'm screwed. So Chloe's like, well, at first Chloe's like, why don't you, stay with Brady? And Brady's like, hell no, me and my daughter, you lost your mind? So Chloe's like, you know what, you can stay with me. And that's when Brady is like, no. No, that's not a good idea. And of course, at this point, Philip, like the weasel that he is, tells Chloe about their little side deal as far as, if the fact that Brady was only, helping as long as he stayed, as long as Philip stayed away from Chloe. So I was just like, so you just tattletale. You really just wow. So at this point, Chloe is pissed off, and she's like, yo, listen, you can't sit there and run my life. We're not married. I know you have this complex of whatever, of saving a woman or saving a damsel in distress or whatever. And Brady was like, yo, listen, at the end of the day, this is not even about that. This is about your safety. If he really cared about you, he would find another place to hide out. And you know what? Second. I agree with him. I agree with Brady. And here's the thing. It's not as though, Philip doesn't have any money. Like, he can't find another place to hide out. You're gonna literally sit there and hide out with her. I mean, he did say that, he was prepared to, handle the situation if it came to that with her and Chloe. But I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, if you really did care about her, why would you sit there and you already have a target on your back? You know there's a good chance that she could be collateral damage. And your answer is, yes, Chloe, I'll stay with you. What the I'm not gonna lie. I really don't feel like getting up to go and get something to drink. But, I'm gonna probably have to. But I'm like, bro, if you really cared about her, and you weren't just thinking about yourself, you would hide somewhere else. But, that would just actually make sense, and whatever. So, Chloe agreed to hide out Philip, and they're going to be hiding out somewhere. Probably in another room or something. I don't know. I'm assuming that Salem only has one hotel, so yeah. Second. So, with that being said, on the other side of town, and, I was right as far as, Sarah being like, yo, listen, we can't let Philip die. Because, Xander pretty much kind of filled Sarah in on everything as far as the whole Charlie thing a little bit. And the fact that he dissolved the company, that Philip was using to, launder the money. And without that, Philip is screwed. And at that point, Sarah was like, well, here's the thing. I don't want him dead. Like, and Xander's like, oh, well, maybe you can get a little roughed up. But I knew that Sarah was going to sit there and convince Xander to do the right thing, and protect Philip. So Sarah calls the cops, calls Rafe. And I remember, granted, she had to do a little bit of convincing, what it's going to do to Victor, what it's going to do to Maggie. Now, I didn't really understand the fact that Xander was like, well, there's a good chance that you can get arrested. And I don't really understand how she can get arrested. But please, if somebody knows in the comment section, please let me know, because that kind of just went over my head. But Sarah calls up Rafe, and Rafe comes down there, and Sarah's like, Philip's life is in danger. We can't really give you much information, but his life is in danger. And, Rafe is like, well, that's not enough for me to actually open an investigation, so unless you have anything else for me. Xander was just very quick, like, nope, well, sorry, wasted your time. But Rafe was like, yeah, I was calling here on another matter. You, for kidnapping charges. So yeah, we're gonna go through that, because reasons. And yeah, I remember Jeffrey's last name was sitting there saying that they were gonna sit there and try to get Xander on those kidnapping charges for the babies, for Lonnie and Idola's babies. So we're gonna go through that because reasons. Now let's talk about Trip and Charlie. So, yeah, Trip is about to leave. He sees Charlie. They start talking. At this point, I'm thinking Charlie is just going to grab a knife, take him out, and not just be into that. But they sit down and they talk about, well, Ava just being like the worst, among the worst mothers in the world. The neglect, the hurt, the anger. Hell, there was one point even Trip felt bad for him. And Trip was like, listen, tell the DA, I'll go down with you. I'll help you, I'll support you, whatever. We're family. And I'm not going to lie, at one point I felt like Charlie was going to do it. But he got a call from Steve, because Ava, she was worried about him. She was in the hospital frantic. She kept like, patch this, patch that. Where is Trip? Did Charlie kill him? And felt like okay. So yeah, did Charlie kill him and stuff like that? And Steve was like, there's a lockdown, babies are missing. They're like extra tight with security and everything. So, but she wanted to make sure he was safe. And to be honest, I kind of was like, well, I just don't know with the Charlie guy, But after the phone call, Charlie resorted right back to hating Trip and being like, oh, the golden boy, they were so worried about you and yada yada yada. And so at that point, he just pretty much just told him to get the hell out of his house, and they're not gonna find anything. And he tried to call a bluff, and Trip was like, yeah, one way or the other, you're going down for this. Rafe is a smart guy. And so at this point he left. I'm sitting there thinking, bro, the walls are closing in on you. Maybe you should think about leaving town. I mean, obviously I want this guy to pay for what he did. I'm just saying, like, you don't really have much going on for you in Salem at this point. And he calls up Claire. He's like, hey, it's me, Charlie, your boyfriend. If you gotta sit there and remind this woman that you're her boyfriend. But you know what? Whatever. He's clearly on a different playing field than everyone else. So he calls her up and he's like, I want to see you. I want to talk to you. I want to be with you. And then he hangs up because he got the voicemail. And then he kicks like some furniture and he gets so upset and he just like sits there and I'm like, bro, why are you still in town? What do you have going for you that you're in town? I mean, I know he's out on bail, but like, you're screwed anyway, so you might as well be screwed on a run. I don't know what's gonna happen to this guy. I mean, I feel like the walls are closing in, unless he somehow screws up whatever DNA test is gonna happen. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Now, back at the police station before Rafe left, he was talking to Nicole and how was her name? Nicole and Allie. And, you know, Nicole's upset because Charlie made bail. Allie's upset and she's like, well, what are we gonna do? You know, when I tried this the first time with Tripp, I couldn't get any justice. They didn't sit there and prosecute him. What makes you think it's gonna be any different with Charlie? You know, at this point, Rafe was like, you know, there's a way you could sit there and try to get your memories back, because at this point, we don't really have a lot to go on. We can try hypnosis. So, you know, at first, you know, Allie's kind of skeptical about it. She's like, I don't know if it's going to work. I'll give it some thought. I'll try and see. And, you know, Nicole's like, no pressure. Okay. I guess she's like, no pressure, but it's like, you want to sit there and nail this guy, so it's like, we don't really have a lot of options. But what it really comes down to is that Allie doesn't want to sit there and relive what happened. So, that is so understandable on so many levels. I completely understand why she is hesitant about trying out this hypnosis thing. But if it's the only way, you know, she's like, I'll do it, you know, to get justice, get closure, and, you know, try to heal. So, we'll see what happens. Yeah, listen, I'm not, like, what he did, like, here's the thing. Charlie had a very screwed up life. And in that sense, that sucks. I feel bad for the character about his upbringing. But even with that being said, there's no justification for what he did. Because everyone has rough childhoods, you know, even Tripp was sitting there talking about his rough childhood as far as him getting beaten and all this other stuff that went on with him. So it's like, there's no excuse, even with a rough childhood, what he did. But Ava was a real POS for how she treated her son, how she treated Charlie. Hell, again, Tripp felt bad for her. I mean, felt bad for her. And that says something right there. Other than that, I think that's pretty much about it. I don't think anything else really happened. If it did, write it down in the comment section below if I missed anything. But with that being said, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. I know it came out super late. But if you're new to the channel, Mondays is usually my late days, and then throughout the week, trying to get a schedule going on. So we'll just, yeah. I want to try to get a schedule going. I know my uploads have been kind of really crappy, even with my new tablet, but I think it has something to do with the Wi-Fi more than the tablet itself. Anyway, I'm rambling. Be safe, everyone, and thank you for watching. Mondays is my late nights, and then throughout the week is, you know, business as usual. Be safe. I will catch everyone in the next video.